Deontay, big peace and blessings to the collective. It's many different. Well, I won't say it's many, but It's some differing opinions as to what's the correct natal chart of Sri Krishna. For me, I believe this chart to be the accurate one. I don't necessarily see how people can see any other chart as more accurate than this one, and I'm gonna explain why do I believe that, right? So just doing a base level interpretation of this chart and comparing it to, the life events of Sri Krishna. Um, Not getting into the dasha timings, you know what I'm saying? Not getting into any deeper level technique, just looking at the chart for face value, doing a snapshot interpretation, right? So we can really do the third house alone. Like just going off of the third house alone, right? Mars, Venus, Rahu. What could this third house alignment signify? It can signify a person who definitely can signify a warrior, or a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who has a deep interest into fighting. You feel me? Warrior, combat sports, and arts. You know what I'm saying? Things that deal with the arms. You feel me? Strategy, competitions, and you feel me? Things that deal with, you feel me? Fighting, competing, all of that, right? And not only that, but the Mars and Rahu in itself can showcase somebody who has to deal with enemies trying to cheat you through occult means or through dark means or through illegal means, right? The Mars and Rahu yoga, I forget exactly what scripture that I get this from. I'll cite it in the comments if I find it. But the Mars Rahu yoga, it speaks to the story in the Ramayana of Lakshman and him being incapacitated by Indrajit. You feel me? The son of Ravana while they was on the battlefield. You feel me? Indrajit, I think he did like some black magic or some type of incantation or something on Lakshman, and you feel me? It pretty much fucked Lakshman over to where Lakshman, was he just couldn't do nothing, and Lord Hanuman basically had to aid him or revive him with some herbs, and basically they got back to fighting and won that battle and whatnot, right? Long tangent, but basically what I'm trying to say is like, yeah, it can signify, that the enemies use dark or occult means to try to harm you. You feel me? You pretty much Mars and Rahu, it shows a person that pretty much you get thrown into warfares. Battles may find you. Battles may, you feel me, come to you, and it might not always be physical battles. It could be spiritual battles often, right? And the person just has to force their way or find their way to overcome those things. So moving on, with this particular third house alignment can also signify an individual that's very lusty and very attractive, very magnetic, very charismatic, very much so has an appeal about themselves that's in a way romantic, but not seven house romantic, third house romantic. Third house, uh, what is this particular house? It can showcase a person who's uh great communicator, great orator, you know, can even be a gossiper, not necessarily in a bad way always, but somebody who just loves to talk and loves to conversate, you know what I'm saying, with the friends, with the associates, with with the people they're around. Third house can show somebody who's multi-talented, and not only multi-talented or has a lot of different skills, they do them easily. They have a flow type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Especially and might have a lot of interest into engaging in certain hobbies or certain arts or certain artistic talents or whatever. What else can the third house signify, or this alignment in the third house signify? uh a comedian, somebody who jokes a lot, somebody who plays a lot of pranks, somebody who's very mischievous, you know what I'm saying, hilarious, very much so entertaining, you know what I'm saying, very much so can be an actor or into drama or yada yada yada, etc., etc., etc. And it goes on. There's many more things that I can say, but just how this can line up with Lord Krishna's life. For one, he definitely was real mischievous, especially in her childhood. You know, very much so a comedian, very much so played a lot of pranks. You know, very much so entertaining. For two, in regards to the warrior aspect, the greatest warrior of his time, the greatest personality in the flesh of his time. Period. You know, came out the womb basically fighting demons. You know what I'm saying? His life even before he was born, like his birth, like was threatened by him being killed by King Kamsa, or the orders of King Kamsa, right? Uh, but yeah, very much so very strong and powerful when it comes to arms and when it comes to warfare. What else? Very much so lusty, you know what I'm saying? He has 16,000 wives, and very much so attractive. You know, with all of that energy in the third house, plus his third lord being exalted in the ascendant, even much more so magnifying the attractiveness of his personality and his personal expression. You know what I'm saying? The most attractive personality on the planet. You know what I'm saying? People pretty much fell at his feet. Uh, what else could this alignment signify? In relation to the down to earth, like even Arjuna, you know, admitted himself that he often addressed Sri Krishna as if Krishna was a mere friend. You know, like he didn't necessarily address Krishna with the spiritual authority of him being, Godhead in the flesh and whatnot. You know, often their conversations were on a very friendly and intimate level in that type of way. You know, as if Krishna was just a homie or just a sibling. What third house deals with siblings and real close friends. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but yeah, that's the general situation for the third house, right? And we can go to the other houses. What the fourth house? You know what I'm saying? Sun, Jupiter, and Leo. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit. He was a literal God King. You know, a literal God King. You know what I'm saying? With a lot of wealth and opulence that was basically just thrown upon him. Like I was just listening to the scriptures earlier. I think the Bhagavatam, right? Like how women will have so much affection, like will be brought to such a level of affection to Krishna, like whenever they were near him or whenever they witness his personality, it's like the breast will lactate like milk just out of pure affection. You feel me? Uh, the ascendant, him being a cow herder or him being uh what you would call it. He wasn't a farmer, but him basically growing up amongst the, I guess you could say, farm or the agriculture or the land in the produce. That signifies the sign of Taurus. You know, that type of activity. Taurus and Cancer, for real, for real. But with the ascendant and the third lord being in exchange, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Taurian element of him being a cow herder, or, which, the bull or the cow represents the sign of Taurus, right? You know, with the Mercury in the fifth, exalted in the fifth. Lord Krishna was also renowned for his intellect. You know what I'm saying? His meticulous ability to 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 foresee certain situations and come up with certain remedy, not only for the Pandavas or not only for, what I'm saying, the Kugel dynasty, but the different government situations around the world or whatnot. Extraordinary intellect, extraordinary master of being able to understand and to comprehend or articulate a variety of different subjects. You know, an extraordinary administrator as well, but that's just my basic level take on some of the aspects of Lord Sri Krishna's chart. Definitely feel free to comment if you think otherwise. I guess at last I'll comment on like one chart that I seen somebody present. Lord Krishna having Venus and Saturn in the fucking Venus and Saturn in the sixth house for Taurus ascendant, and the exalted Mars in the ninth. This is the problem that I see with this, right? First of all, if Venus and Saturn is in the sixth, I'm telling you, the guy is going to be a staunch celibate, possible eunuch. You feel me? With Venus and Saturn in the sixth, very, very much so. Not saying that he can't have a wife, or not saying that you can't engage in sex at all, but with Venus and Saturn in that particular position, it's not going to be somebody you, who has 16,000 wives, or uh, is even interested in stealing a wife or a consort from a neighboring kingdom, as Lord Krishna did. The third, the Mars, Venus, and Rahu in the third house, it can give a person the Rahu gung ho, or uh the Rahu like lust, to where you see something you want and you feel like you might just take it, which you know not to say that Lord Krishna was wrong for doing so. Like, she wanted to be with him anyway, so like, really, what's the problem? But but all in all, what I'm saying is, to the third house can make a person, especially with Rahu, especially with this configuration, you can sometimes go against what's quote unquote dharma, you know. And side note, I know I'm going into a lot of tangents. It's a difference between what's actually right and what is customarily, or what the culture calls dharma. Third house is where you do what you want to do, but sometimes that's right and it goes against the quote unquote dharma, and sometimes it doesn't go against. You know what I'm saying? But it's neither here nor there. Getting back to what I was saying, but yeah, for the Venus and Saturn in the sixth house in Libra, I wouldn't find that to be accurate representation of his particular life. Also, Mars in the ninth, Mars, exalted Mars in the ninth, Lord Krishna would not have been as much as a open or a loose or a comedic personality as he was if he had that particular position. He probably would have been more so of a warrior for righteousness, like stand up, like, you know what I'm saying. Don't, like, you like Mars in the ninth exalted is gonna make a person real passionate about adhering to the code, which, he is the personality of Godhead. He is the most righteousness, but he's not necessarily egotistically concerned with quote unquote adhering to the code. But that's just my spiel. That's just my analyzation of, just quick, basic, analyzation of his chart. Definitely comment if you think otherwise, or if you got evidence that can prove me wrong or anything like that. Deontay Bay.